We're here with Raphael Murphy. Raphael, you're going to be the co-main event on Marinas' Promotions July 16th card, Night of Knockouts. Talk to us about that. You can just go.
Yeah, well, it's very excited to come back to Harlingen to be able to fight again. And I mean, for Julio Marinas to give me the opportunity to come back in my adopted new home, Harlingen, I mean, it's going to be a very good night, an action-packed card. And I'm willing to put on a show, so is the main event. And I mean, it's very nice.
Okay, you're a little new to some of the Valley fans. You're originally from Chicago, Illinois?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, a lot of people don't know that you got to play some college football before you started into boxing. You know, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I was able to play in Graceland University. Played 3 years actually of active football. Worked on the grades and more of the education my senior year and business administration. I mean, it just was another thing to do and critique my boxing to help me out with boxing, to bring the toughness over to boxing from football. So, I mean, and just to have an education and also boxing, I'm just not the ordinary fighter.
Okay, so you did graduate from Grayson with business administration.
Yes, sir, and that was a very good degree to get. I mean, knowing that I want to go into business and also not only box for my whole entire life, but also be able to do other things on a different type of level.
Okay, now you come from a strong family of boxing. Your father is Kenny Murphy, and he fought for 2 world titles, the USBA title and the WBA title. Talk to us a little bit about your dad.
Yeah, my dad, I used to watch my dad a lot when I was coming up as a young child, running, fighting, and he always say, one day you'll get a shot, just keep working hard no matter what you're doing, no matter what, you know. And by my dad came out of a big family, 12 kids, and also I mean, it was tough. He had a bigger brother that boxed before he boxed, so he used to have to steal time in the gym, and my uncle didn't know about it or whatnot. But anyway, he had a chance to have a dream and fight for the WBA, USBA, cruiserweight titles, and also a lot of big contenders in boxing, and that's just so inspiring for it to keep going on and on.
Okay. Now, your dad's brother is Leroy Murphy, and Leroy Murphy is a former IBF cruiserweight title holder. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, also my uncle Leroy, very great fighter in the 80s. Also Olympic, he was on the 1980 Olympic team. The year is actually counseled in the Soviet Union. Very strong, very hard-hitting fighting. And actually, he had a fight that happened just like the Rocky movie. I think he was fighting Moody in Italy, and I mean, he was a very exciting fighter. So the cloth that I come from is a very strong cloth for fighters and a lot of knowledge.
Okay. Now talk to us about your training. Who is your current trainer? Does your dad or your uncle help you out, or are they your main trainers?
Well, yeah, right now I'm being trained by my dad, and when I'm not being trained by my dad, I'm being trained by Andrew Maynard, the 88 Olympic gold medal. And my uncle, I mean, we not have spent a lot of time in the gym, but he gives me a lot of good tips over the phone or in person. And also my dad, he comes and put time in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however many we need for a fight. So, I mean, the trainers that I have is a lot of experience, and I mean, just to have them around my circle is a very wonderful thing.
Okay. Now, talking about your training, you've also you do train out of the Don King training camp, and you sparred the WBA cruiserweight champion Guillermo Jones. Talk to us some more about that.
Yes, I had an opportunity to train with the WBA cruiserweight champ, and that was a very, very exciting moment. I mean, it's my second time going to train with him, and my first time actually, I got a call from the Don King office, and they just asked me, "You want to train with the world champion?" I only had 1 professional fight by that time, and I mean, what can I be losing? So I took the opportunity, and it was a great opportunity. Did very well, opened up a lot of eyes, and was able to go back and train once again with the champ. So, I mean, and he's a good guy, helped me out. I mean, if I have problems or things that I need to work on, I mean, he lets me know from a champion standpoint. So with being able to take that knowledge into the ring in every fight, I mean, it's very good.
Okay. Now, for this co-main event, you're going to be taking on Larry Hopkins. What do you know about this opponent?
Well, I know Larry Hopkins. He's an MMA fighter, also slash boxer. Pretty slick guy. Like to come out and fight. Probably horse around a little bit, but I mean, there's nothing that I shouldn't be able to handle. I mean, it should be a good fight. The guy come in and throw a lot of punches and try to counter. So, I mean, as a great fighter, I mean, you have to train for the fighter and not the fight. So, I mean, it should be an interesting fight with me and Larry.
Okay. Now this fight's going to be in Harlingen, Texas. This is going to be your second time fighting in Harlingen, Texas. Talk to me about your first fight. You came out a little strong in that one, but you were able to get your opponent out of the ring in the second round. Talk to us about that previous fight.
Yeah, my first fight, I was excited to fight here in Harlingen. I've been telling people a long time I fight and what I do, so I was very excited and really wanted to get a first round W. You know, I used a lot of energy, but also it helped me for my other fights, and I went out pretty strong, and I was able to get that guy out of there in 2 rounds, and it could have been a long night, but the second win, it was my friend that night.
Okay. Now, out of all this experience that you have, great people behind you, how do you apply this into the ring and to your overall, boxing career?
I mean, well, just having all type of voices and all type of peoples around me that can give me good feedback or bad feedback when I'm doing good or bad. I mean, that's just gooder than whatever you can. I mean, you can't have good things in life unless you have a good person that can speak to you and give you knowledge and guide you. And I mean, and I love that from my uncle Leroy to my father Kenny and my other trainer Andrew. I mean, those guys give me, everything is different from what they give me, but I use it as like a gumbo soup and put it all together, and by all means I can use it in the ring, I can use it outside the ring, because it's just a life of knowledge that you just can't get so many places. And to come down to Texas to fall into a world champion hands or Olympic gold medal, I mean, you never think those things will happen, but it happened for me. So I mean, it's just meant to me to be boxing, I guess.
Okay. Now, how prepared are you for this upcoming bout?
Well, I've been preparing quite some times. I was in Don King's training camp for 6 weeks training. I knew I had this fight coming up for probably 2 months now. Coming down back to the Valley, I was already prepared. Don't need to do too much sparring, get myself beat up no more. I mean, I think I'm ready. I'm already at weight 202 pounds. I feel terrific. Only thing we need to do is probably sharpen up within a few weeks and have a good show on July 16th.
Okay. Last question, is there anything you want to say through myuniversalsports.com before we close?
Well, I want to thank My Universal Sports for having me and able to get me out here to the Valley and to other fans. And also like to thank Julio Marinas for giving me opportunity, and also Harlingen for letting it be my second home and adopting me. And I'm willing to do all for the Valley.
Okay. All right, Raphael, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, My Universal Sports, once again for having me.